here we are in the 6th district of Paris. We are in Saint-Germain-des-Prés, and this is Rue des Beaux-Arts, where you can see the Beaux-Arts School at the end of the street. The Rue des Beaux-Arts is a famous street which is full of art galleries. And this is the other side of the street, and here we arrive at number 10, which is the Galerie Arnaud Lefebvre.
Et ce lait aujourd'hui.
Oui.
Oui, le petit.
Il se
Il est
repose.
sage, il est à
Oui.
l'intérieur. Ah bon.
And here is a Gina Birch exhibition that we are visited now. Here it is. And that's now the Zoom for Gina that we will hear. Hello, Gina.
So much painting. There weren't many female heroes. And so I decided that I wanted to create more female heroes. So I started making some like 40-foot women, 40-foot kind of goddesses, like creators. They were kind of very sexual. They were creators. And then I was looking at some classical paintings, and I decided that I would intervene within the paintings on behalf of myself, my friends, and sometimes even the women within the paintings, to give a different narrative, if you like. And that is the work that's largely in the show, in it, Arnaud.
Yes, so perhaps we can show some of the works in the show. And
Can that go full screen, maybe? I can't remember how.
can you see?
Green one. Oh, yeah.
So this one, it's somehow for me, it seems that's the largest, I think, work of the show. And it seems to me a mixing of, in your show, I somehow see two different kind of works, the works which relate to other works coming from the artistry, which that you, as you say, you vandalize. And so there is something of that in this one, but it also relates to some subject in itself. Maybe I'm wrong because it's related to historical painting, but it seems to combine everything from your work. This one, I don't know if it's what you think.
In what way? I'm interested.
In the way that there are kind of two kind of works, the one which relate to other paintings and the one that you create by yourself. I mean, so this one seems to be the two together.
Yes. Yeah, I think this is the first one that I so-called vandalized, and that word came from, I was calling it graffiti, and then I had Ivan Seal came to look at my work, and he said it's like a kind of vandalism, which I really liked that idea. And so I had made, I had these classical paintings on my phone, and I just drew on them within my phone, which gives them a more of a kind of vandalizing look. I had trouble in a way to try to vandalize, because as soon as I painted the original classical painting, and then I would put more paint on, and the paint became part of the painting instead of another layer of the painting. So I really tried to develop a way to make the vandalizing, so to speak, a layer that kind of sticks out, and it does to some degree. There's, you know, I've used pastels, I've used fluorescent paint, and I've kind of daubed it on in a way, and charcoal. So I've daubed it on in a different method from the basic classical painting, and in a way, you know, for me, both these things are two ways of painting that I get so much pleasure from. I love, because I'm quite new to painting, I love the idea of copying paintings. And yet so many of the amazing paintings that I love I have a kind of love-hate relationship with many of them, because sometimes the subject matter seems so kind of difficult. As a modern day feminist, some of the subject matter seems very hard to embrace in a way that makes me happy, you know. So in this one, the figure is kind of almost asexual or multisexual or multi-gendered. I don't know. It's a kind of godlike figure to me. Yeah. Any questions, anyone? Oh, you're all muted.
Maybe. I don't know if, so perhaps I will go to the next painting, because I don't know. I'm a little confused with the technique again.
I think it looks great, Gina, really great. And I really like the two different modern and classical together. It brings the old to the new to the old, and makes me look at the old again. And I agree with your take that it is difficult to look at a lot of those paintings from the past as a woman, and this has a strength to it that I really love. And I like the telephone bits that the hand, you know, like modern. I don't know that it's vandalized. I think it's brought current, is my feeling. Sorry. And I've unmuted myself.
I think that was that you, Daisy?
Yes, that was me.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's great. I think it makes the classical modern. And I see a woman there, actually. I don't see a multi-gendered, but maybe that's because I'm a female wishing for more strong female pictures in the pictures I look at.
Yes. Well, I think, to be perfectly honest, I saw a woman, but lots of people have seen, because it's so kind of broad-shouldered and big, and people see, you know, if this person was an Olympian, they would have been definitely tested for hormones. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah.
Gina, this is Maria. I'm curious what the source image is for this one.
Oh, it's somebody called Ludovico Liparini. I just found that I found it online, and it is Cain and his family being thrown out, engendering God's wrath. And so it's kind of, yeah. I have, later on I can show you kind of the way that I vandalized it on my phone, but I won't do it right now because it incorporates all sorts of other hoo-ha.
Is there a reason that the face is kind of negated or wiped out?
It just felt, yes, that there was, it just felt right. I don't know why, it just felt right, but I can't articulate it.
Mm-hmm.
What does that?
No, I just wondered if there was a kind of meaning behind that somehow.
Yeah, I think I need to meditate on that. But
Cool.
you know, sometimes you just do something, and
Yeah,
when
of course.
you change it, and you go, no, I don't like it like that. I like it
Sure.
some other way. Yeah, this painting was the next one I did, Susanna and the Custard Tart. Well, there's a big Gentileschi show supposed to be opening in London. And that was kind of a big coincidence, really, because I painted this picture. I've got all sorts of pictures of this, and I'd read about it and reading about how the two elders, it's called Susanna and the Elders, and basically it's from a biblical story where Susanna is bathing and two elders are let in accidentally, and they come to gaze at her, and I think there's a story that she encourages them, but anyway, there's this kind of overwhelming kind of you know, they're kind of hovering right over her, kind of really you know, like the patriarchy sometimes does. Hovers over us all, particularly females. And so I thought I started off making quite a kind of violent gesture back to the men. And then Lele, my daughter, was doing an art project at school, and she said, oh, I've seen that before. And an artist in 1990s, she was a conservationist, had made a piece of work where she recreated the painting, and then she invented in her own mind an angry Susanna underneath, quite a violent image underneath, as if she had discovered it whilst restoring the picture. But this was a kind of fake piece of work. Interesting. So I thought that was kind of serious, and so I thought, I mean, I use a lot of humor in what I do, and so I thought about the Custard Tart being a kind of slapstick, a slapstick idea, you know. What do you do when you're kind of, what do you do? You put a custard pie in someone's face to humiliate them, and so oh yeah, so there's different ones. Is the other one there, Arnaud?
Yes.
There's a slightly more there's a slightly more aggressive one somewhere. So yeah, I'd made all sorts of different ways of intervening on behalf of Susanna, and but the Custard Tart was the one that kind of stayed with me, and because I thought it was funny, and sometimes stupid is best, as I once read Matthew Collins say, and I kind of I stick by that. I often find stupid is best. Oh no, can you go back? And yeah, there should be another one, but it doesn't seem to be there at the moment.
No, it's not there.
It's not there.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so, and the other thing that I've done is when I was doing a lot of drawing, I'd be at various drawing classes, and I'd go off the edge of my page, and the teacher would always say, stick another bit of paper on there. And I'd think, well, that's a terrible idea. But eventually I'd do it. And now, if I go off the edge, I stick another bit of canvas on there. And in order to make a difference where the canvas is sewn on, I give it a different flavor or texture. So in this particular painting, that's just a piece of raw canvas sewn on the bottom with the idea of where the legs would be.
There are two paintings in the show with raw canvas, with this one and the one with the two Hercules in relation to Delacroix, which...
Yes, it's true. With the Delacroix one, I had actually got another piece of canvas on the bottom as well, almost like a separate painting, which is in my notes, but I can show that later.
That's this one?
Yeah, this is the last painting I did, which actually is very flawed in a way, and perhaps it needs a lot more work on it. But yeah, I made this a lot in the gallery. We went to the Sennelier shop, which was very exciting. Sennelier is a great art shop and makes a lot of beautiful art materials. And
I can testify that it was impressive to see the will you had to in this painting, because the painting arrived not finished, and you wanted to work more on it, but you somehow looked for. So we were really sharing your studio and somehow your creative process.
yes.
And
There was an energy. I mean, I think I do have kind of energy to push through problems, and that perhaps that's one of my skills. Really, is like I'm just going to push on through. Sometimes perhaps I should be a bit more patient, but. So this painting came and it was all out of shape and it was in a terrible mess. So we went to the Sennelier shop and found some canvas, and I glued the old painting onto the fresh canvas. And then I got Arnaud I found the images that I wanted from the Hercules statues, and I got Arnaud to print them out on the computer, and then I glued them on. And then I found lots of names of women from French, revolutionary French women. And I started to graffiti their names onto the painting. Yeah, it's an idea. It's a work in progress, this one, I think. It could be so many different things, but it is. As is.
Do you think, Gina, that your art belongs both to high art and how could I say street art, which is it's not in opposition to high art, but it's because somehow this painting seems to go back to the street where the painting belongs.
Yeah, that's a nice thought. You know. I don't see myself as a graffiti artist. Yeah, I don't know. And I very hate to think that I could compare myself, but somebody like Basquiat, if he's a street artist, he's not he's a gallery artist, really. He uses signs and images that could be in street grounds and things. Who's there coughing away?
Yes, there are other noises.
Does anyone want to ask a question about either of these paintings? Daisy, you're our best interlocutor.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think that you can say, is it this or is it that? It's now, isn't it? And it's what you're doing is you're showing me an old picture. I mean, this looks like something I've seen in the Louvre, of course, and then it's like, oh, hang on a minute. When he said testify, I was like, testy what? You know, and of course I looked right there. And yes, you see men and women, and I have to think. And that's what art does for me. It makes me think, and it makes me look again, doesn't it? It's not, and I get your street idea, you know, these were the people from the street. Yeah, so are punks, and so are this, but the gallery job is to show me a group of paintings, isn't it? That's what the gallery's job is, and it doesn't care how high or low it is. You know, who knew Van Gogh was high or low when he started? You know, like, and I like the fact that, Gina, you're doing current, you know, the masks and the topless girls and the sense of humor and the custard pie. Because you know, when feminism first came along, you were always told, oh, you know, oh, you shouldn't be, you should be grateful that men give you their seats, and there was weird sort of that, wasn't there? And the custard pie is funny. It is. It's like I don't have to slap his face to tell him shut up, leave me alone. Custard pie, everyone knows that. That's what a 6-year-old, because that's what his 6-year-old behaviour was. You know, isn't it? You know, when blokes get lechy, it's like they're being 6, isn't it? It's not that they're being grown up. Shove a custard pie, funny, ha ha ha. But also it makes the point, doesn't it? Leave me alone, doesn't it? You know, and I gather a lot of paintings in the old days were painted nude so that men could have a, you know, Renoir, you know, keep it in your bedroom, you know, naked buxom woman and stuff. Why not show men's bits? I think this is great. Sorry, I'm going on. I'm going to unmute. I'm going to mute.
Thank you, Daisy. Brilliant. Anyone else? Maria, are you there? Someone sounds like they're in the bath.
For those who are curious about the artist that Gina was just talking about, who did that wonderful Susanna and the Elders restoration, I put the link, I should say, to that work. If anybody wants to take a look at it, what Gina had in mind, because it's a wonderful piece about Artemisia's history, how it factored into that apocryphal story from Christianity. Actually, I think it may even be sort of Old Testament apocryphal book. But yeah, I'd suggest looking at the piece that inspired Gina to her own restoration.
Ah, yes, thank you. Shall we? What's the next one, Arnaud? Ah. Oh. Well, this one. I was very when I first started painting. I spent a lot of time at the National Gallery, and I can't quite hear what those people are saying.
Yeah, I believe the host can actually mute that person.
Who is that?
Can't you, Arno? You can see who's you can mute people. Yeah.
Yes, but the thing is, I need to change my screen, and I'm sorry, I'm not very good at.
I think they're quiet now. Anyway, it's okay.
Okay, sorry.
I kept finding myself in front of, you know, the rape of or the abduction or whatever of the Sabine women was a great source of material for history paintings, and so I think it was in the Roman Empire. Or my history's terrible, but it was found that you know, it reminds me a bit of what happened with the Al-Qaeda men, you know, kind of encouraging young brides, you know, but in that case, they kind of bribed the brides to come to them. But in this case, the Sabine women were kind of grabbed and carried off to procreate because there weren't enough women within these young men's entourage or whatever. Very bad history. I've never been a historian. You will see one of my paintings, new paintings in the gallery. It's called The History Lesson, where 3 blonde girls are looking rather vacantly as the history lesson is continuing, the history of the great men. Anyway, so I decided that I would try to, I was also interested in the idea of painting in black and white in acrylic, and then using layers of oil to color this black and white painting. I mean, it's an old technique. But anyway, so I painted this in black and white, and then I actually really quite liked it like that. And I thought I wanted to make an intervention in where the Guerrilla Girls, who I'm a big fan of, would run in and save the women from the abduction. So I found a picture of the Guerrilla Girls running towards the camera, and you can't really tell that they're running actually, but you know, they're running towards the Sabine women to rescue them from. And in that instance, what I did was I cut out photocopies of photographs of the Guerrilla Girls and stuck them on. Because you know, I'm just trying to explore in each of these paintings. I'm trying to explore different ways of making a painting. You know, how do you make a painting? And so I was doing that there. There's a bit of graffiti on there. I think it says anger is a great place to start. And here I'd had a big gorilla too, and I just left some mouths of the giant gorilla and turned him back into a centurion or whatever he is. So I liked the kind of the journey from black and white to color, but also, you know, when you're studying a painting like this, you see these incredible kind of diagonals, you know, from the leg down in the bottom left to the big muscly arm through to the woman's arm going right up. So you get this fantastic movement within the painting. I mean, this is just a part of Poussin's original painting. But it is great to study and to copy great paintings, because you have this incredible sense of composition and dynamism, and the way that ideas move around within the image. Yeah. Is everyone still there? Are you all bored out of your minds? I mean, it is an art talk, you know.
Not at all, Gina. Hi, this is Tay from Brooklyn.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you again. Yeah, this one I really love quite a bit. And I think just on a technical side, I just really love the draftsmanship and the craft that you used in the copying the rendering of the Sabine women. And also I just love the in my own head the story of, I also see this as a story of like the two techniques and the two you know, kind of like the you know, you have the conventional, more academic style of drawing and painting sort of being rescued or being kind of enlivened with another thing, with the collage techniques and the more modern, more less, you know, traditionally conventional techniques all kind of coming together, you know, possibly even rescuing it. So that's like the little story there. And especially I love the disembodied mouths. It's a lovely pun. So yeah, this one especially, I mean, all your paintings are quite beautiful, but this one I'm really liking. Especially, I really admire your painterly technique in the rendering of the women and the figures on the bottom.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else, or shall we move on?
Hey, Gina. While you were talking, I got almost like a television, modern, you know, cinema, you know, again, it's old, but it could only have been painted by someone who watches TV and goes to the movies and was in a band, maybe. I don't know that I see the girls running.
Yeah.
I
punk rock song.
I immediately thought the band, immediately.
Yeah, they do look more like that, you're right.
Yeah, but I also see but I also like, I saw sort of Planet of the Apes kind of joke, maybe. But I do like the colour black and white, and I love the way the feet are down here. Everybody's swirling around. It's great.
Thank you. Thanks, Daisy. Who was the other one?
Hello, Gina. It's Debbie. You all right?
Hello, Debbie. Yeah, good.
Yeah, Atlanta and I are really enjoying this, and we think that this is brilliant. Really, really nicely done. My personal observation is that the rape of the Sabine women is happening in sort of an anarchic, dusty, dirty situation, and the women have their arms outstretched towards the oncoming guerrilla girls who are bathed in the beautiful blue of a new day. That's what I'm getting from it.
That's a lovely thing. Yeah, that's lovely.
Hi, Gina. It's Ava from London. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for piecing it together.
Oh, nice to see you here.
Yeah, it really makes me very happy because, you know, graffiti street art is so, in a way, marginalizing women, and particularly the hip hop strand. It's quite misogynic in a way. I remember reading a piece by Jessica Pabon about that whole process of attempted recovery of graffiti from the depths of patriarchy, and groups in Latin America that she was showing in New York a while ago, Latin American feminist graffiti artists. So it's just lovely to see the Europeans stand on it, and you're fighting for the troops. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Thanks, Eva. Yeah, interesting. Sorry, I just had a bit of a thing there because Lele was going to film on the second camera, but she's, you know, she's 17. She's gone. How can your mum be cool? Yeah. Arnaud. Ah, yeah.
That's a one.
Do you know what? With this one, I'd done a lot of, it's kind of odd because I'm always it's kind of quite hard to rationalize this because, you know, there's me kind of against a lot of exploitation of women and their parts. I suppose maybe having had breast cancer, I'm kind of interested in breasts and freedom and, I don't know, feminism and burning bra bollocks. And I'd done a lot of small paintings of these girls. They just kind of kept coming back to me. I don't know why. And one day I was having a crit and I just decided I was going to paint a very large version. And I painted it in quite a kind of energized but slapdash way. And for me, I actually like it. I don't want to do anything else to it. I just like the way that the marks I made were like, they were just there. They were the sign, the symbol of what happened that day at that time. And there it is. What else can I say? It's like, it's also like that thing, girls together, you know, when girls are together, we have a freedom, a kind of something different. Yeah, I can't explain it. It just is that.
I agree.
Huh.
Hi, just a question. It's Michelle. Just a question about this one.
Hello, Michelle.
Hello. I think this was my favorite that I've seen. And do you think that the difference with this in terms of showing like women's breasts or whatever doesn't feel so voyeuristic because it's not meant for like a sexual reason, if you get what I mean. It's meant to be just how the female form or a woman's form can be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get what I mean?
I think so. I mean, I think that was the kind of impetus for it. Yeah, and also I suppose have done an awful lot of life drawing, and I don't know. It is something that I find I like what you said, because I find it quite hard to articulate how and why this appeals to me so much.
Yeah.
I like breasts, I suppose.
Yeah, but it doesn't always have to be like, I think we're so conditioned to think that drawing of breasts has to be so overtly sexual, when sometimes it's just like,
it's kind of sensual. For me, it's kind of sensual, and it's like they're having a cool time.
Yeah,
and they're telling this geezer to fuck off.
Yeah, totally.
Who's not even getting in the frame, but he's trying. And she's not even looking at him as she's pushing him in the mush.
Where he deserves to be.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Gina. I love this painting. I love the pink background and the way it looks so feminine with the girls' skirts and hairstyles, but there's something really punky and anarchic about it as well, in their gestures and the looseness of the painting.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think that's what I like about it. Yeah, pink is kind of quite a it's quite a joyful color, isn't it? And it feels kind of like, I mean, I know blue is supposed to be heavenly, but pink is quite heavenly, isn't it? And yeah, there is a joyfulness and a fuck you kind of thing about it too. Yeah.
Hi, Gina.
Hello.
Oh, Lydia. Hi. You have a lot of these three girls in your paintings. Is there any significance to the having three rather than 3-point movement or a pattern like that?
I don't know. You know, there's a little bit of me thinks, oh yeah, you know, my Catholic upbringing, Father,
That's
Son,
what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, the Holy Trinity, but also, you know, at school, there were always, you know, a gaggle of us, 2, 3, going with their arms around each other, usually kind of similar height. You know, it was very kind of like, it was very white and, you know, was a long time ago. So they have usually these 3 blonde girls keep appearing, but in this one, for example, I seem to like the 3, but I've got the 3 nurses and the 3. There's something about 3 I like, and it just works for me.
Me too.
Oh, hello, Lydia. Yeah, it might be the Holy Trinity. Might be a kind of triangle thing. It feels kind of complete somehow. What do you think, Lydia?
I think it works very well. I was thinking there might be some religious depth to it. I think that as you explained it, as this camaraderie with these and discovery and this celebration or a common experience. With 2, it's not the same as 3. And it gives some toughness, you know, of this female experience being together, some solidarity. I mean, yes.
Tony's I just seen Tony. 3 is the magic number, says Tony. But I think you're right. 3 is kind of tougher than 2, because 2 becomes like, oh, we're just busy mates and we're, you know, blah, blah. But actually with 3, you've got, or 4, you've got your beginning, you've got, you know, there's strength in numbers, and 3 is a magic number. I like to see, Lydia has got one of my paintings behind her. This is the gynecologist as matinee idol. from
love
New
it.
York in how many years ago, Lydia?
It's the kitchen. You showed it. Oh my God. 4,
4 years.
maybe. I also have this one, but it's not a painting.
Show the video.
The shoes.
The shoes.
I have that too.
Yeah. It got a little destroyed, which is very punk rock.
Oh yeah, now we're going on to the 3 girls. And I had written quite a lot about this next one. You know, with this one, I was thinking about, that one, this one. I was thinking about, you know, what happens to girls, you know, where not so much now, but when I was growing up, you know, and if a girl got pregnant, you know, she'd disappear from school for a while and there'd be kind of rumors running rife, and then, you know, she'd come back maybe, or she'd just disappear, but the baby would have been given up for adoption, or, you know, there was some mega shame around this, and she wasn't able to keep the baby, you know. How, you know, as young women, hey, that was a lovely bit of singing. Yeah, so, you know, the boys happy with their, you know, exploring their sexual indiscretions. And then when the girls explored their own sexual indiscretions, they ended up with a bigger price to pay. And so I was just thinking about how these girls, they may or may not be real babies. In the beginning, they weren't real babies. The idea was that they were dolls, and they were being given a kind of lesson in how not to get pregnant. And then I thought, actually, I think they are real babies. They became very kind of Francis Bacon-y real babies. And I was thinking about the kind of patronizing way that they may have been taught to behave, and the patronizing way they were kind of dismissed as sluts and kind of generally no good human beings, you know. They should be cast out because they've had sex and they've had the unfortunateness to have a baby. You know, I wrote a whole lot on this, and I can't really articulate it right now, but yeah. How are we doing? Arnaud, how are we doing? Any thoughts?
So, any thoughts? I think it's very more than interesting, important to hear. French sound.
It's Diana Quimby trying to ask a question.
Oh, hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, well, it's nice to see you and meet you. I tuned in late to your presentation, but I was just curious about what you said about the last painting. That you wrote a lot about these girls who would get pregnant, or, you know, the whole sexual taboo around young girls' sexuality. Did you write songs about that, or did you write like a text that you published, or you just wrote for yourself?
I wrote it thinking about the painting for this, actually. You know, and I'd written a lot about babies because I had I wasn't able to have a baby, and had a lot of treatments, and eventually I've got the 2 most fantastic daughters, but they didn't come from my body. You know, I think I'm interested in young girls' sexuality, really, I think, and the kind of longings and the way young girls, the romance that young girls are fed, you know, this kind of incredible tales of love and longing. and then of shame, and you know, those things are interesting to me. Guilt, shame. But yeah, no, I haven't published it, but I might put it on the website or something.
I think those, even though maybe things are a bit different today, maybe they're not all that different actually. I don't know. I think that shame is still there.
Yeah.
Maybe less, but yeah, it's not over yet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else want to say anything? Yeah, this was an early one I did, and I spoke about it before, the history lesson. I just like the idea of like, where are we in this history? Well, we don't exist in this history. I remember when my kids were going to secondary school, I asked, you know, what was there, you know, what was the history of women? And they said, you know, well, we do cover the suffragettes. It's like, that's what we get, really. So yeah, I made that painting. Do you want to? Oh.
Is that blood on the schoolgirls? The red outline.
Oh, let's see. Oh, what? The one before? Oh, it looks like it, doesn't it? I don't think so, no, but it could be. I don't know where that came from.
Because it looks like it's dripping from them onto their books.
It does, doesn't it? I don't know how that got so red. Okay, it's blood, Debbie. It's blood. It's the blood of history. It's the blood of the empire.
Christ. Are the boys in the background?
Michelle?
Hi, yeah. Are the boys in the background sort of despondently listening in and just not really caring for what's happening, if you get what I mean? I'm assuming they're boys in the background.
Yeah, I think so. They were just a kind of filler in to show that there were other people there, but yeah, okay. They look a bit despondent, don't they? Or,
yeah, they just don't have to care, whereas the girls feel a bit more affronted by...
Yeah, I think that's good reading. Good reading.
Do you think is it always the same three girls in the different paintings? Does that matter? Does that come into your head?
They kind of are, but when it's not convenient, they're not. I think of them as the same three girls, but then sometimes, you know, it's like when you go around in a gang and then sometimes someone's kind of pushed out or they move to another town and you get another one in. Hey, Suzanne. Bill, I can see you. What do you think about the three girls, Bill?
Let me get my, does it unmute me? Yes, it unmutes me automatically. I was marveling at how expressive the figures are with such you know, direct means, and each one has so much character. And I imagine that you don't even know how that happens.
Not really. I mean, sometimes I can see, you know, obviously when I put the white under the eyes, you know that there's a kind of expression. But yeah, and the way that the tie is flying around, or if they're twiddling their thumbs or folding their arms or head perked to one side or something.
was very empathetic. I mean, I think you enter each of the you must enter each of the characters.
I agree. I agree. I think it's put across really, really well, and I think it's because you really know what you're really in the painting as you make it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, they are, you know, they feel like real stories to me, or real memories, or, you know, they're moments that are misremembered, or I don't know. You know, I just remember things, you know, having my ring confiscated, or, you know, that thing about school that is like, what the hell? But also loving school. I loved school because of my friends. You know, that's what I loved about school. I loved my friends so much. And the lessons were a bit of an interruption into that. Art. Art and maths I was okay at. Yeah.
It's such a good range to be good at. Art and maths. Covered all bases.
If only, Michelle, if only.
I was just at maths, only good at the things that don't really matter.
Oh, and these ones, they were funny. Strange girls are normal girls. I just love that. You know, because I had the song Oddie Shape, you know, because you're always trying to fit into some damn hoo-ha, you know. You want to be this way or that way. You want the breast to be at a certain height. I remember I was working in a restaurant in the Isle of Wight when I was about 16, and the chef said to me, "Oh, you're low slung like my wife," meaning my breasts were low. And I was like, and that really, really, you know, it was like the worst thing you could hear as a young girl, you know, like, ah! But you know, you have no ammunition to fight back. You just like, he was the chef and I was a waitress, and you know, he had all the power anyway. And I just thought, you know, girls were always trying to fit into some bloody thing. But thank God for punk, because then we could do what we could, put sugar in our hair, and we could wear galoshes and string vests or what the hell we liked. And that was great. It was so liberating to be ourselves, you know, to go in the charity shop and be inventive and do what the hell we like with our hair or our makeup. Strange girls are normal girls. Yeah, more of them. They're not so strange, these ones. Well, they're a bit odd. Oh, we didn't talk about the joints, or was that like
Yes.
Yeah, this one I was using a velvet. I thought about, you know, an idea of using because I remember, you know, when I was like, well, how this started was I was on holiday once with my friend Pip Whiteside, and we met these young boys. We were about 12 or 13, and we met these young boys who taught us how to put 3 cigarette papers together and how to lick the side of a cigarette and to put it in the cigarette papers, then to get a bit of cardboard. And so they taught us how to roll a joint. And Pip bought a little ring, because they promised they were going to send us some drugs, some dope. And her mum was very kind of nosy and curious. So she bought a little ring so that when the dope arrived, she could present this ring and say, oh, that's what came in the post. Meanwhile, we would have the drugs. And we had a thing called D-Day where we were going to smoke this first joint. Of course, the dope never came. But anyway, there were, a bit later, I did discover people who had drugs, and they used to always roll them on an album cover, you know, so you'd have a 12-inch album cover. So I suddenly thought, oh, this is really interesting, you know, to put album covers in paintings. So the original one I did had the Velvet Underground album cover in, but it was quite hard doing that banana, Terps banana. So, and then I thought, oh, I'll put a raincoats album in, which is completely out of context in terms of dates and so on and so forth. But so there's the raincoats album cover, and there's the number 6 tipped, which is what we smoked, and the swan matches, and the cigarette paper, and the burnt match, and the Rizzlers, and she's trying to burn a bit of dope. She's licking some, you know.
Well, of course you're going to use your album because it's your painting.
Yeah.
And it's you. It's you.
Yeah.
You know, this is who you are. This is me. You're giving me some iconography about who you are. So when I come to this picture, it's by Gina Birch, who's in the raincoats. I mean, of course you have to have your album in it. And the colours are perfect for your girl's hair, the background, and the ties.
Yeah.
Really, in my opinion.
Thank you, Daisy. Yes, the purple hair is yet to come in my paintings. That's a bit further down the line. My teachers at primary school used to have a purple rinse.
That's funny.
Very avant. Yeah.
I love this picture. I think it's great. I think it's great that you used your, why defer to a bloke album anyway, you know, just to make it real. This is more about me painting from my soul about me, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying narcissist. I'm saying I'm telling you how I felt in this picture.
Thank you.
I think.
I definitely, that's very, very evocative of my early teenage years. It's almost exact. Yeah, and the embassy number 6, only people in Britain above a certain age will even know what they are. I love that. I used to smoke them myself. And it's interesting because 6 is a multiple of 3, which is quite an important number to you.
You're so right, Daisy. Daisy, I mean, poor Debbie. Oh my God, I'm going bonks.
I really like this
Debbie's
painting.
actually got a lovely background there to sort of match your picture too.
Norma, yeah?
I really like this for so many reasons. It brings me back. But, you know, I teach popular music studies and I do this intro class to first-year students. And I'm always telling them about using record covers to roll joints. And they look at me like I have 3 heads because they don't know about marijuana as having sticks and seeds. They don't know about album covers or gatefolds. But this is just so evocative. I'm all over this painting. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Oh,
I especially like her eyes on the end. You know, when they're sort of almost, you know, really concentrating there, aren't they? Aren't they funny? And it's humorous, isn't it? It's not like, oh, you know, it's the light side of having drugs.
I feel like the girl.
You went a bit wonky there, Michelle.
I feel like the girl in the middle won't be able to. Sorry, I'm just saying that I feel like the girl in the middle won't be able to roll her own joint.
No,
I can hear that.
I can see that. She's not really with it.
No, she's not with it.
You know, Michelle's in about the next room to me. It's funny.
I'm just like just.
Michelle's never been in here though, or maybe she has.
No, I haven't. I promise. I don't know how the sausage is made, Gina.
You can come and visit anytime. Arnaud?
Yes.
I don't want to disturb.
What?
During the presentation of the Zoom, you mentioned also the lockdown and what you did during the lockdown. Would you like to show us?
Oh, I don't know. Lele, I need you. Lele was going to use my phone. I'm going to rejoin on my phone, I think. Can I? Mike, can you get Lele to come up, please?
I think he's coming out.
I don't know how. I don't know how, so that's why I need Lele. Have you got your phone? Yes. Can you do it on your phone? Can you make Mike's phone a thing?
No.
So if you make me I'll just talk a bit into the camera.
Okay.
You take that off. Oh. Hello. I think I'm spotlighted. I don't know. But anyway, on Mother's Day, before the lockdown, I mean, it was quite a while before the lockdown, before we even knew anything weird was going to happen. I read about Nasrin Sotoudeh, who is a Iranian lawyer, amazing woman. I think you have to turn the sound off.
Okay.
She was an amazing woman, and here's our sound off. We're having some echoes.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, Iran is a very sophisticated country and had some of the smartest, most amazing women. And then they have this incredible regime, which means that those women have to give up so many of their human rights. And Nasrin Sotoudeh was a lawyer who defended them, was consistently getting into trouble with the regime. And on International Women's Day, I read that she'd been sentenced to 138 lashes. Was it 148 and 38 years in prison? And I was like, she's this incredible, smart, beautiful woman. And I was just like so heartbroken. How can this be? And so I made a massive portrait of her. And that was in my studio before all this happened. And then I came back to the house, and then I thought, I started to paint and I couldn't paint. I lost all my sense of taste and smell, and I was in a bit of a state. And I was looking at this painting, a Goya painting, and I decided to make a painting which was based on the Goya painting, the 3rd of May. And I would, have you got that one? I don't know.
I don't know if it's up on the screen.
I'll just try and do it like this. So, and I made the painting which is based on the Goya painting. I can't do it. Mike's got,
That's it. That's good.
That's good. Yeah. So this is quite a big painting, and so I was looking at the Goya painting, and I was looking at the texture and the technique, and then I placed these characters in the painting. Guys I'd found, pictures of guys I'd found who were whipping women and lashing women. And then and there were always a lot of onlookers, usually young men, sometimes young women, looking on, just seeing what was going on. And in the original Goya, there's this strange light here, so I thought I would put that. And so this was a kind of, it kind of links a bit with the paintings in Arnaud's gallery, but in a way I haven't got a different kind of intervention. The intervention in this painting is part of the painting. So it really is, I suppose, my own painting. And then I made something which was even more horrific. I read about this. Well, no, I found online. I think it was in India. I think this one online. So
okay.
I found in India a guy had accused his wife of adultery, and he'd hung her by her arms from a tree and was whipping her, and there was a huge audience around as he whipped her into unconsciousness. And I was just like, again, so horrified. And then I always think of things like, you know, the Raft of the Medusa and these paintings that tell the stories of of the terrible things that have happened in the world. And I kind of felt like it was kind of important to try to do something. I can't do anything about any of this stuff, but I can kind of bring it to people's attention. And many people just want to look away, and I don't really blame them. And maybe they think I'm weird or perverse for wanting to highlight it, but for me it feels like I'm actually doing something. Anyway,
well, that's you and Edna O'Brien. Edna O'Brien went to Africa and wrote a book about those Boko Haram girls that got hostage taken in, what was it, 200 women? She's 80 years old.
The schoolgirls.
Yeah, and 80 years old, Edna O'Brien from our childhood, country girls. Off she goes to Africa. I think the Irish embassy put her up there, and she got a car, and she wedged all this money down her bra, and off she went to bribe everybody to get in there to find out what happened, because she felt like and you're right to show this stuff, and you're right about rape of the. It is in your of course it makes total sense in your catalogue of images to show me. Yeah, I don't want things like this to happen to women, and they shouldn't be secrets. If they're secret, they'll carry on, won't they? Like genitalia mutilation and all that sort of stuff. Once you find that out, well, now you know, and if you know and you tell somebody, more people know. So my hat's off to you.
Thank you. So that, and then I think it was at that point I decided I would cheer myself up a bit, and that's when the joint paintings started. And so the learning to roll a joint painting, I started out with a still life, which is actually not belonging to me anymore. I'm swapping that with a very great, lovely friend artist. But anyway, I did lots of paintings of learning to roll a joint. And then I started, a friend of mine said, when I was struggling with what to paint, a friend of mine said, oh, well, just look at, copy paintings, look at paintings. So I copied a couple of Titians, and I worked on them, and that was really fun. And then I did a couple of Degas. That was really fun. All these things are on, I think they're on Instagram, all these things. So you can look at them. And then I did the Poussin paintings, which I quite like. The four, they are the four... Allegories of love. Thank you, Mike. Mike's here now. The Allegories of Love. This one's called Scorn. But anyway, I've done 4 of those. And then, blow me, I got into the idea of I should do something about the crisis, the coronavirus crisis. And again, I was a bit inspired by, Goya. And I kind of asked my 2 daughters to dance, because I thought, when all this is over, we will be dancing, we will be partying, but lurking there, however alert we are, will be this thing, this virus. And if not this virus, another virus. Life will never be quite the same again, I don't think. Maybe that's pessimistic, but I felt like, my daughters have got another world. Like my mum thinks of, how terrifying our world is. We think how terrifying for future generations. And then I made 2 paintings, 2 small paintings. Basically, there's a huge crisis in the UK about care homes. And so I made a painting which was really young workers in care homes with women and men in coffins, and these young women unable to do anything because they don't have what they need, and the virus is spreading. And there we go. Any questions? Cheerful questions?
Brilliant, beautifully. I think that's great. Yeah.
Arnaud? I think are you muted?
Yes, so I was somehow humbled to hear all the reaction and all the voices about your work, which it's not really possible to have only eyes to see works, and so that's important to hear other voices like today about your work. And so for me, it's also it's also like I say, a kind of adventure to show what you did, because it seems that you have strength and courage, and that's thank you for that. And so maybe there are questions.
I think that's well said, and I'm really impressed with the volume of work that you've done in this lockdown. These are all the stuff you've been doing since Paris opened, you mean? Amazing. You've got another gallery show there, Arnaud.
My question would be, what are you going to do next, since you seem to have done it all now?
Well, I've got a huge canvas there. I was going to make a massive party. A massive party of dancing, but with viral interventions.
Okay, cool.
How? Yeah. And more. I want to do some big ones of this, because I feel so, upset and mad, and and the beauty of old people, and also the memory of seeing my granddad, who was 99, lying in a coffin, and he was so small, and it's an image that is so imprinted on me. I kind of feel I need to
expel it or something, or like do something about it. And I guess, like, this is such a cliche question, but do you feel, without being sort of what's the word, sort of not patronizing the situation, but do you feel more, have you felt more inspired, basically, even though everything is turning to shit? Like, I know that's such a classic question that artists always get asked, but do you feel that your productivity levels have like changed, or were there other things you're interested in? Like,
I think there's always things that there's always things. I mean, one of my tutors from the Working Men's College, he said to me, "You'll never be short of material, Gina, because I see things everywhere, and they interest me. Everything interests me." And so I feel like there'll always be things that inspire me.
I've got a question. I wonder if you're aware that, do you know Youth? Do you know Shirin? Shirin, she's a PR, I think she's publicity for Youth. Her dad was recently in a care home and died. She's posted about it. And so along the thoughts of the care home and that awful situation, she's actually posted stuff about they almost took her dad hostage and she couldn't get her dad out to look after him. You know, there is tons of, stuff going on. I just thought you might know that of her because of Youth, no?
Yeah. I know the name and I probably met her, but I can't picture her right this minute.
She's Iranian. She lives in Clapham, and I think she's a PR, Mark Stewart and all that. Anyway, it just came to mind. Sorry. That's the last thing I'll say, I promise.
And my last thing to say as well is, so you mentioned how life is going to be completely different after these unprecedented times go or whatever. And I don't know anything about art history at all. So it's not really a question, but I just wonder if there are patterns in how or what kind of art gets made after specific, not very common global pandemics happen.
I don't know. I mean, apart from Arnaud, who I am very grateful to, you know, the internet is my gallery.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really.
I just wonder if there was any like kind of upsurge in a kind of art after, like, say, the Spanish flu or something, or I don't know. It's just interesting to think what was happening.
There might be, but someone needs to do the PhD on that.
Yeah, exactly. I won't be doing that. I'm not offering up my services at all.
Neither will I.
I can give them their thesis, but they can do the rest of the writing.
You can do the title, yeah.
Hi, Gina.
Who's that?
Lydia.
Lydia.
How does now that you are painting and you're also a musician, and you're a very feeling, thinking person, how do things, it's hard to formulate this, where you put your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, in a song, in a poem, in a painting? Does this painting, if you make a painting, do you not make a song? Or how does this work as a creative person?
I've done quite a lot of writing, but it's prose. I haven't written any song lyrics. Well, I probably have, but I've never been great at writing song lyrics, let's face it. I just feel I can express myself best at the moment in painting, and you know, I've got material, and I enjoy performing. I enjoy the emotion of performing, and I will do that from time to time. I did so at the gallery opening, didn't I, Arnaud?
Yes. But I somehow I had the feeling that the way, I don't know too much, but the way you write lyrics, it's also very concise, and it's very straightforward, and it relates to your paintings in some way.
Yeah, I think that's true. I'm not, as I said before, I'm not a kind of complicated person. Well, I don't think I'm complicated. I just put one foot in front of the other and one thought beside another, and see what happens. It's not always simple, but it's not hugely poetic or full of allegory. It's usually a bit kitchen sink, I have to say.
I think it's very direct.
Yeah, well, I think direct.
Which is very powerful.
I hope so.
Definitely is.
Sometimes I'm like, whoa, that was great. Where did that come from? And then sometimes I'm like, oh God, what are you doing, Birch? You know, just, you know, sometimes things come and you don't even know quite where they came from. And but then when they arrive, you go, oh yeah, I know you.
I have a question. I was just looking at
Oh, can you hear me okay? It's Allison.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
Hello. Hi. I was just looking at the background color in one of your most recent paintings, the sort of reddish orange.
Yeah.
Seems to be present in the last one as well. And I remember being really struck by the pink background that you talked a little bit about before as well. And I just sort of noticed this red-orange background reoccurring. And I was sort of wondering about, I don't know, the palette that you're working with now, if that changes a lot, or if that...
It's become more like alert, fear, kind of danger, I think, somehow. The pink was a kind of heavenly, but more ethereal, and the red is like, it's like, it's in your face, danger.
Do you look at Matisse?
Yes, of course, but it didn't come from Matisse. It came from just deciding to pick up that color. That color felt right at that moment, and I started to paint. Because it's quite good sometimes just within this one. This is slightly different. This is a kind of more orangey color. This was kind of a red. And I just painted this board, this bright red. And the whole board was bright red. And I wasn't sure if I was going to keep that, but actually it feels right. It feels like the danger thing. And it's also it is quite celebratory, but it is also dangerous. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anna, this is Linda from My Dolls in Houston, Texas. And
Hello.
I have been listening and enjoying this so much because as you pretty much introduced everything, you talked about women need heroes that they can relate to. And our music was so impacted and influenced by Raincoats. And we're so excited to get to see you guys in Denton, Texas several years ago and see you up close and personal. And thank you for all you are doing. And I think your paintings are amazing. And I'm sure that your prose will at some point end up in a song. I just can't imagine that not happening. So thank you for everything. And I just wanted to say how much I'm enjoying this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So perhaps there are some more questions. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is Norma. I'm just curious if there's a price list attached to these paintings.
There is a price list, but not on my screen, but certainly I can send any informations.
Yeah.
If you email to the gallery, yes, I'd be pleased.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For
So Arnaud, the gallery is open and Paris is open. How's that doing?
So it's like a recovery somehow. People seems to go slightly to life and to the street again. So it's too early to know what will really happen, but it's hope. It's a hoping period.
You don't feel there'll be a second spike? Are people being sensible?
What did you say? I did not
Are
get.
people behaving in a way that means they're distancing and they're being sensible?
Oh yes, yes. Everyone is. You feel that everyone is has some fear. You feel that, but still, I think there were a miss of art during this time, and there is appetite to see things and to enjoy.
Good. What about everyone else in different parts of the world? America? Who's it?
Americans are dealing with psychopaths who are taking guns to our capitals right now. Granted, they're a very small minority, but it can be sort of terrifying to think that our psychotic president is riling up, using the coronavirus to rile up a lot of people in the lead up to our presidential election. So those of us in the States are keeping an eye out for crazy people. But other than that, folks tend to be sensible and, wear our masks, and where stores are open or restaurants are open, they're only letting so many people in at a time and with masks. And so it's mostly reasonable, except for a few very vocal, crazy people.
Yeah.
In Canada, we're just trying to keep the Americans out. I'm in Southern Ontario, and they're only very slowly starting to open. But basically, the Canadians wanted their garden centers open. That was getting them upset. And now that they're open, everyone's happy. But we had this fear of the U.S. coming in because, U.S. trucking goes through all the time. And so if they have another outbreak, we're going to have another outbreak. As for me personally, we're actually trying our first socially distant dinner with some friends tonight outside.
Hey.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Katie and I are in Queens, in the center of the worst outbreak in the country, I think, or it was at one point. And it's very palpable. We hear the ambulances, on an hourly basis, less so this week. But the people, people are not being cavalier in this neighborhood. People wear masks, people are generous towards each other, yet we're all isolated and in a community, and the community is global, and the strange struggle to relate and to acknowledge the people we've lost, either to the virus or otherwise, is an important part of our experience. So this connection here and seeing people that I met in Paris in the fall before, when we thought the strike was the biggest problem we had, it's really quite nice.
Well, the great British common sense isn't proving to be very prevalent, is it, Debbie? Can you unmute?
I'll just go ahead and say no, it's not.
No, I mean, people here, it just seems very scary, really.
My friend,
sorry.
It's awful. I was ringing my friend who lives in East London, so just by like the epicenter of a big park there. And she went around, she's not an at-risk person, so she can like go and walk around and all that kind of stuff. And she just said that she hasn't seen the park there busier than what it normally would be like in summer. Like it's just busier than what we'd ever seen. So people obviously aren't really caring for it. And obviously people aren't really wearing masks and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we'll just see how it goes here. I don't know. I don't have much faith.
In the news, it says there's only 24 new cases in London.
I just don't believe it's true.
That's given everybody this false sense of security. Not everybody, because I haven't left the house in forever. But Daisy, you're a real explorer, but into the heath and park.
Yeah, I go out every day. I believe in the sunshine. As soon as somebody tells me stay in, I go out, that thing. I work at home anyway, so I'm good, but I do know a lot of nurses who tell me it is true. And so I try and wash my hands when I come in. I don't use hand sanitizer. They tell me it's soap. They don't use sanitizer in the hospital. They use soap. And I've heard that the army are here and they are doing MACA, M-A-C-A. And I've got a friend who told me, talking of the Olympic Stadium, apparently there's a whole group of people who are around politicians or something, and they've got this group or meeting group that you know, like say something does happen. Anyway, the army are here and they're on manoeuvres, and nobody's allowed holiday from what I hear. And
wow, you only live in the next street to me.
that's it. But I go up at night and nobody's there really. A lot of people smoking pot, actually.
Down the road, yeah.
A lot of people smoke pot up there. The trees.
I can see it's 7 minutes to 7, so UK time. So we probably should be rounding up, n'est-ce pas?
Yes, yes. So,
just a quick one. Do you think you'll be performing at all, Gina, in the next whenever? Musically, obviously.
I don't know.
I can't see gigs happening till next year, really.
We're supposed to be playing at the British Library on the 26th of May.
Right.
That's not going to happen. And no.
Who knows? Yeah.
No, who knows?
That's my feeling.
Cafe Otto are doing Zoom concerts, you know, some people are doing that, you know, like if you went to the gallery and had a Zoom concert, you could, JC Carroll's, there's a lot of people singing in their bedrooms, aren't there?
Yeah,
no.
But I know we miss that contact, don't we? It's like, my lad that I like, he's got 31 festivals cancelled, but he went up to Port Merion the other day and just lit the place alight for the workers. So they know it can be done, you know, like to do stuff. Anyway.
Shall we start to say goodbye?
yes, and
No.
Thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Gina and Arnaud.
Thank you all for coming. It's been a lovely time.
You know that Gina, at Fate, it's the habit now to upload for the care workers and for the people. So it's almost 8, so we can upload now, I think, for you and for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Arnaud. Thank you for hosting us. For having me in your gallery.
Oh.
It's been really great to get to know you, and great that my pictures are hanging on the wall. I don't know how we're going to get them back. They all went there in ski bags, unrolled. The first time I took a ski bag of paintings over there, I was feeling really nervous. So I borrowed a friend of mine, she had a ski hat. So I had a ski hat on and a ski bag over my shoulder, pretending that really I was going skiing.
Oh my God.
I tried to walk in a more athletic way than my usual lolloping. I am going skiing, and they took not a blind bit of notice of me with my ski bag or my ski hat. And then the next time I went with another ski bag, I just walked straight through, no ski hat, no attitude. Fine, but then...
If you need a hand, I'll come.
Okay, come.
It's like performance art.
All right, I'll let you go. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I salute your taste, Galerie Arnaud. I think it's great. You've done a lovely little job there.
Yes,
See you, Gina. Bye.
Thank you so much.
I'm going. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gina.
Thanks so much. Very
inspiring. Bye, Thank you. Bye, Daisy.
Bye, Gina.
Bye, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Marie, don't cry. Wipe a little tear.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Oh, bye, Tony. I just saw you there.
Yeah, I'm just here. Bye-bye. See you later. Karen's been here as well. She's just dashed off.
All right.
See you later.
There's somebody called User. Hey, you user. Who are you? Lydia.
Drug user.
Christine Pio. Christine, did you understand a single word? You speak good English, I hope. We didn't.
Yes.
We were going.
Do you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, of course. I understand a bit. a lot of.
We were going to try and do some translation, but we got a bit carried away.
Well, you would have cut the energy of the speech of the.
Yeah.
And thank you for your work and for the rightness of your work, of your lines.
Thank you.
And of your mind.
Okay. Oh no, we'll speak later.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye bye, Gina.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wonderful. Goodbye. Bye, Gina.
Bye. I'm going to go. I really am. You just can't linger any longer.
Oh.
No.
Bye.